Recording this now. In.
Right,
that's better. Hilarious. Just as I start recording, the window cleaner appears over my shoulder. Give him a wave. So the first thing we're going to do is an activation for the breath, and it's a breathing technique called humming bee breath or Brahma breath. So I'll kind of show you the hand gestures that we use for humming bee breath, because it's quite specific really before we kind of launch into it. So my hands are always cold, so I generally start by warming the hands together. Now, rubbing the hands together generates energy anyway, and it starts to wake up the nadis, or the energy points in the palms of the hands at the end of the fingertips. So it kind of signals to your body that you're going to be doing something physical in any case. It kind of wakes us up. Now that we've got the hands nice and warm, just take a moment to feel how they're tingling, that kind of tingling sensation in the palms. And then if you bring the palms towards one another, you might even notice that there's almost like a magnetic feeling in a way. It kind of repels the palms away from one another. That's just a nice way of seeing that you've created this energy that's now flowing through the palms of your hands. So we can take this active energy and we can place it over the face, and that will kind of continue to charge what's going on through the full flow of our body. So I'm going to show you how we work with the hands here. I generally lay the fingertips into the hairline. And then if I turn side on, I'll show you. There's this little bit in your ear here, that's called the tragus. And we're going to take the thumb, and we use the thumb to just gently press the tragus over the ear hole, if you like. So as soon as you do that, you won't be able to hear anything. So I'm kind of showing you the shape first before we begin. So the fingertips will rest in the hairline, the thumbs will rest on the tragus. Then we'll take a very deep breath in. And as you exhale, you want to let the breath come out like a hum. So it'll be a gentle hum to begin with. You might feel tingling in the lips. You might feel it in your teeth. So play around with making sure that it doesn't tickle too much and kind of make you, it irritates the face. So kind of get comfortable and make sure you've got that gap between the teeth and the tongue is resting in the well of the mouth. So make sure that you're sitting in a nice upright position. So we're going to allow this energy to flow through the body. So even if you've chosen to sit on a couch, just make sure that you're kind of shuffled, lifting up out of the sit bones, that length from the back of the head down to the back of the tailbone. So we've got the natural S shape in the spine, but we want to encourage that release, that lifting and lengthening, the top of the head reaching towards the skies. We'll repeat that, rubbing the hands together just to reactivate the energy. Then we'll bring the palms over the face. I choose to gently close the eyes behind the palms of the hands. Gently close the tragus. Take a deep breath in. And then hum on your exhale. We'll do 3 more. Last one. And then as you reach the end of that comfortable exhalation, just bring your focus back to the breath. Just loosen your thumbs from the tragus so that you can hear the sounds that surround you. Take a deep breath in through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. Deep breath in through the nose and out again through the mouth. A further deep breath in through the nose, this time exhaling with an audible sigh. Now let the breath return to a natural, easy rhythm in and out through the nose. And gently blink the eyes open behind the palms of the hands. I like to take a moment to spread the fingers, to gently start to pull the fingers down so that we're allowing a little light in through the space of the fingers. Let's try to keep contact with the contours of the face, over the cheekbones, along the jawline. Opening the eyes now and bringing the hands to an Anjali Mudra, just resting in front of the heart. So just rest here. I'm going to give you a moment of quiet here and just tune into that vibration. Then when you feel ready to do so, just allow the hands to comfortably rest on top of the thighs, palms turned up to the ceiling, and just find yourself a little more rooted back in the space, back in this room. So you've probably already felt the benefits of that breath technique. It very quickly calms the body down. I should have mentioned that I have a very big lung capacity, so my hum goes on forever. It's just one of those things. There's no right or wrong. And sometimes you find you have a long breath, then a shorter breath, and you kind of come into a rhythm over time. I know a couple of you have mentioned to me that you sometimes babysit for grandchildren. Maybe you still have children running around. It's an excellent exercise to use when little children in particular get to that point where they just can't cope anymore and they just don't know what they're trying to tell you. You know, when they get that kind of, I'm so frustrated and holding it all inside. If you can encourage them to do that humming bee breath, you can feel yourself. It's a bit like gas and air. It kind of spaces you out and it gives you that lovely vibration that still lingers in the ears for so much longer afterwards. So the beauty for us is that we've managed to warm up the throat chakra. We've obviously had to work with the solar plexus chakra to be able to push the oxygen back up over the throat center and out through the mouth. So there's a lot of work already happening in the body. We're already quite activated. You know that I quite often talk about the fact that yoga is it's an inside job. So you're working on yourself from the inside out. It's much less about the postures. That's the smallest part of yoga. So it's actually a bit of a gift today that we've been able to take the time to kind of look at the more mindful aspect of the practice. So while we're in this comfortable seated position, if you've chosen to sit on the floor, you might want to just switch your leg crossover. That might just support you a little bit better and give you a little bit of variety in the hips for a start. If you're sitting in a chair, then just remain where you are. Adjust again to lift out your seat so that we're not slumping. And we're just going to take the palms in the hands and again, just rest the backs of the hands on the thighs, palms turned up towards the ceiling in a gesture of being open, ready to receive. So we've kept the eyes open. We're going to use this moment to just line up the back of the head with the back of the tailbone And again, re-lengthen, lifting out of the sit bones, allowing the shoulders to relax away from the ears. And if having the legs crossed is distracting you, widen the legs or straighten the legs. There's no need to kind of sit in a position that's uncomfortable. So we'll start by following the nose rather than the chin, and we'll take the gaze over the right shoulder. So we don't have to look all the way over, just comfortably looking over that shoulder, keeping the shoulders relaxed back and down, taking a deep breath in through the nose. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in to support the spine and gently draw the nose back to center. A further inhalation to re-lengthen the spine, then an exhale to take the gaze over the opposite shoulder. Again, a re-lengthen on the inhale, on the exhale, drawing the nose back towards center. We'll keep working with the rhythm of the breath. So on the out breath, nodding that right ear towards the right shoulder and just pulling back if there's any tension in the neck. Exhaling to engage the core, return the head to center. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to nod the ear to the other shoulder. Bring the head back again towards center. And without fully letting go of the weight, just gently nod the chin towards the chest. I personally find that I prefer to do this over 2 or 3 breaths. As I come to my third exhalation, I'm nodding the chin towards the chest. So that extra weight through the head is just widening the space between the shoulder blades. As you exhale, draw the tummy button in. As you inhale, lift your gaze again and find that alignment again from the back of the head to the tailbone. Lovely. Nice and soft in the neck. Squeeze the shoulders up towards the ears. Then on an out breath, just simply let them go. Squeeze the shoulders up. A little more control now as we gently roll the shoulders back and down. So we're drawing little circles with the shoulders. Try to avoid, if you can, pushing the chin forward as you lift the shoulders. So let that shoulder joint do all of the work. Full range of natural movement. On the next exhale, we're releasing the shoulders back and down, and once more drawing the shoulder blades together. Draw the tummy button in and extend both arms forward, pressing through the fingertips, bringing the palms together, finding right forefinger over left to create an interlock in front of the heart space. As you exhale, draw the tummy button to the spine and curve through the spine. So we're gently pushing the middle back towards the back of the room, nodding the chin to the chest. Then as we inhale, finding again that length as we lift out of the sit bones, turn the hands inside out, then lift both arms overhead. We want to lengthen through the arms, pressing through the palms. Again, the shoulders relaxed away from the ears, so there's no tension through the neck. On an exhale, almost as though you're rotating through the rib cage, take your gaze over that right shoulder, so it feels like an upper body twist. Release to come back to center. Inhale again to realign, then exhale, come over to the other side. Come back towards center. Then draw the hands back down in front of the heart. Turn the hands inside out once more and repeat that gentle cat stretch. So curving the spine towards the back, nodding the chin to the chest. Then inhaling to lift back to center. This time placing the palms down flat onto the thighs. Pressing onto the thighs, drawing the shoulder blades together, lifting the sternum, but keeping the chin nicely docked back. Exhale, roll it forward. Inhale, open through that upper thoracic spine. Exhaling again to roll it forward. Inhaling once more to come back to that natural seated position. I just want to open out some space at the side of the rib cage, particularly when we're doing the chanting. We need lots of space in the lungs and in the rib cage. So again, don't worry if you're sitting on a chair, we can still achieve this quite easily. So we're going to place the right hand either beyond the armrest of the chair. Yep. Or if you're on the floor, press the palm to the floor. Then lift the opposite arm. Look up to the fingertips of the left hand. So we've got a nice diagonal which opens through the chest. And as you exhale, just come over the midline of the body. Again, ideally, we'd prefer to be pressing through the fingertips, lengthening that upper arm, and just ironing out that little bend in the elbow. Inhale to lift and come back to center. And we'll just do the same action to the other side. So looking up to the fingertips encourages that opening through the chest. Exhaling, engaging the core, lifting the weight back to center and bringing the hands back. Lovely. Squeeze the shoulders up one more time, then release and relax, softening the shoulders away from the ears. Perfect. Good. Feeling all smoochy now in the upper body. Your lower body's going, what am I going to do now? So I mentioned earlier, I'm just going to show you, I'm not very good with the technology, so hope it works. I'm going to share a screen and I'm going to show you an image of the energy centers that sit throughout your body. I'm conscious that some of you are very new to yoga. Some of you have been doing yoga for a long time. And I do drop the word chakra and energy and sushumna. I drop that into conversation all the time. So I just wanted to be helpful and kind of show you what I'm referring to, really. So if I do this share screen, check me out. Can you see that? Perfect. Perfect. So this lady's clearly sitting in a very advanced posture called full lotus pose. So if you want to take that posture and put both your feet on top of the thighs, you'd be my guest, but I won't be joining you in that one today. That's quite a challenging one. So I often talk about the importance of balance in yoga class. The alignment of the spine is something that I always come back to, that sense of lifting and lengthening out the spine. And even when we're in laid down positions, I often talk about feeling the equal connection through the back of the shoulder blades, through the back of the hips. When I sit you back up again, if we do a forward fold, for example, I'll be asking you, make sure that you don't lift one sit bone higher than the other, because that whole point is to keep that balance, that whole support for that central line of energy. So sometimes when I get carried away and I talk about that central line of energy, the Sanskrit word for that is sushumna. So if you ever hear me talking about sushumna, that's what I mean. This central line of energy that runs from your root chakra all the way up to the crown chakra, which is above the head. I guess I would be doing a bit of a disservice if I didn't talk about the other sides of the body. So the left and the right are largely recognized as being the right side as being very masculine. That's very much the yang side of the body. So quite often if we have a dominance in that side of the body, we tend to be very go, go, go. And we find it sometimes quite difficult to relax, to come down, to come back into a quiet and centered space. The flip side of that, the left side of the body, is identified as being the female side, Ida. And the female side is much more cooling, much more likely to be drawn to moon cycles rather than sun cycles that the masculine side has. Usually take a bit of getting going, to be fair. But that's why we talk about the yin and the yang being a really good balance for each other, because obviously if we can marry the active and the heat and the go, go, go of the right side with the balance, the calming and the cooling of the left side, then clearly we're winning at life, because no one wants to be too much of one and too much of the other. So these chakras that are indicated on this illustration here are effectively energy centers or vortexes that kind of run up that center line of the body. It's no happy accident, I suppose, that if you look at something like the Lancet, for example, the logo for a lot of medical journals will actually show a sword or a staff or something like a spine in the center of an image, and then it will have a snake curling around it. Well, largely in yoga philosophy, it is believed that all of these energy centers are crossed through by a snake. So it's kind of like the snake of our energy, and that snake is called Kundalini. And the job of Kundalini is again about balance. It's to balance the very feminine center in the root chakra with the very masculine center here at the crown chakra. So it's it's that sort of sense of balancing. And it's as they travel left to right and work down through the chakras, that marriage, that unity, which is what we call yoga, the union, the yoke, that's how we achieve that. So this is kind of making a bit more sense, I hope, as to why the physical practice of yoga isn't all of it. And that's why when we do the postures and I cue up breathing in a specific way, it's so that we can access that energy that's naturally flowing through the body and hopefully getting it past potential blocks in the energy. So sometimes you'll come into a posture and you'll think that doesn't feel good for me, that doesn't feel right for me. Sometimes you'll have an injury that will just stop you from doing something. It's worth noting that if we have any blocks in these energy centers, they're called granthis, that sometimes we just need to do the work to unclear them and bring ourselves back into balance. So the function of me kind of warming the throat up today is I'm going to do some chanting with you today that will open up the chakras, that will bring the chakras back into alignment. So you can either do it seated or you can do it lying down. But as we've got the illustration up, I'll just take a moment to kind of talk through what each of these chakras are. So down there at the bottom, illustrated in red, and I've got to say, I'm a big believer in telling people that there's no hard and fast rules. If you practice meditation, if you get into meditation, you might start to see colors. And I've got to tell you that some of the colors that are represented here aren't necessarily the colors that I see for that chakra. And I'm not going to worry about it because that's how I see it. So intuitively, I just know that that is what it's trying to tell me. But for ease, we will stick with the colors that are recommended or suggested here. So the root chakra is at the base of our spinal column. It's kind of, I often describe it as being just in front of the perineum. So it's very low down, right down at the base, and it's kind of like it's called the root chakra, and it connects us down into the earth. In Sanskrit, it is called Muladhara, and Muladhara is direct translation is root chakra. So remember, the chakras are these spinning vortexes of light, and the first one that we encounter in the root is called Muladhara. Where we see the Muladhara, that's in red. The seed mantra for Muladhara is Lam. So when we do our chanting, we will be making a different seed mantra or bija mantra for each chakra that we hit. So I will remind you of that when we're doing the meditation, but I'm going to tell you now that the one for the root chakra is Lam. I have a little sort of acrostic that I don't think that's the right word I'm using, where I use alliteration to try and remember what each of them are. So L for the lowest is Lam, because they all have the am sound afterwards. So L for Lam. Moving up, we have the sacral chakra. As you can see here, the sacral chakra is kind of where we hold our sexuality, our creativity. It is the place where most of us have blocks. It's very common, particularly for women, to feel very blocked in their sacral chakra. We hold a lot of our emotion here. And sometimes we talk about it in class, don't we? That sometimes we'll feel a release. And often that release will have been something that's been held here in the sacrum. So the sacral chakra is always identified as a swirling orange. And the seed mantra for the sacral chakra is VAM. And the way that I remember that is VAM is the vaginal area. Bonkers. The thing is, you laugh now, but you'll never forget that one. It's in there now. As we're traveling up, there's a little bit of debate over whether it's the navel chakra or the solar plexus chakra. There are actually two separate and defined chakras. Some instructors talk about solar plexus, some talk about navel. I usually say navel because that kind of for me is a bit more rooted in that's kind of your wisdom, your power. That's where you hold a lot of your strength. So you'll know that a lot of people will say, if I'm feeling anxious, it's my stomach that suffers. That quite often you get an upset stomach because you're holding all that power and you're kind of not letting it flow through. So just even having an awareness of that is helpful. So the solar plexus chakra is called Manipura, and Manipura, as you will see, is always a yellow swirling light. And the seed mantra for Manipura is Ram. And I remember that as a rumbly tummy, which is why navel chakra helps me. So a rumbly tummy is Ram. As we move up, this is the chakra that I think, I actually think even if you aren't particularly clairsentient, which means that you can feel emotion of other people, this is probably the easiest one I think to tap into on a day-to-day basis. It's that kind of, you know, when you see someone you love and your heart does that kind of flip, or you get that widening through your chest, that warmth, that, or when someone gives you that hug and it just makes you melt, and that's where you feel it. That's your heart chakra. Now, this is the one that I would say, controversially, it's depicted here as green. Some people see this as a soft pink color. So if when we're meditating on this, you see a soft pink color, then that's the right color for you. And don't question it. It's absolutely right. The green color that's illustrated here is very much associated with healing. So therefore, if you have sort of any heartbreak or any grief, it may be that the green is more prevalent for you because it's healing you know, something that's hurt or broken in your heart. So the heart chakra is called Anahata, and the seed mantra for the heart chakra is Yam. And I remember Yam as in my heart yearns for you. I yearn for you. See, it's lovely. If you think all these ones through, they really help. The next one we come to is the throat chakra. As you can see, I'm very overactive in the throat chakra. I like to speak. And of course, with the chanting, that was a lovely way of us just gently feeling the edges and kind of getting to know our throat chakra. You know, it has one word here, communication. I tend to, when I talk about the throat chakra, I feel it's much more important than just communication. It's linked to the ear. So as well as active speaking, it's also active listening. But the lovely thing for me for the throat chakra is I always think about it's where you speak your truth. So you might find that you get a tickly throat, that you get pain in your throat, that you get throat conditions. Well, I have a daughter who constantly gets, what's the word I'm looking for, tonsillitis. And that's because her throat chakra is pretty much always out of balance because she's very timid, very shy, and she doesn't speak out. She doesn't say her truth. So there's a whole load of Ayurvedic medicine that you could go down a bit of a rabbit hole to identify all of that, but I'm just kind of mentioning it to you that some of these things might resonate as we pass through them. So the throat chakra is Visuddha, and the seed mantra for the throat chakra is Ham. And I always think it was ha 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 ha, because that's got to be the best sound to come out of your body is a laugh. So ha 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 ha, Ham. Then we'll travel up to the third eye chakra. Now, the third eye chakra is where it might all start to get a little bit esoteric. Some people are fortunate enough that they are gifted to see images in their third eye chakra. You might be able to see colors, or like me, you might not see anything. You might just feel or hear things. Everyone's different. The third eye chakra generally will present itself as violet. It shows here as blue. It's not, it's violet. And this is called the Ajna, the third eye chakra. And the root mantra for Ajna is, what is it again? Oh, Sham. So it's spelt K-S-H-A-M. It's pronounced Sham because the K is silent. And forgive me, but the way that I remember Sham is because I think a lot of people won't believe that the third eye is a thing. They'll think it's a sham. So that's how I remember it, if that helps you. And then the very final one is the crown chakra. This is kind of like the seat of our spirituality. So if you can imagine that the crown chakra will open towards the heavens, and that will pull down the cosmic energy from the universe. That doesn't happen overnight, I've got to tell you. So don't worry, you're not going to have a huge spiritual awakening today. Highly unlikely. If you do, brilliant. Tell all your friends. I personally visualize the crown chakra as a lotus. I visualize it as 1,000-petaled lotus. And as we are working with the third eye moving into the crown chakra, you almost feel an opening happening and it becomes brighter. And those petals open, open, open so that they can pull that light and they can be a channel to travel all the way down through the chakras and aid that balancing. And the seed mantra for the crown chakra is Om. So that's the one that we all know. So Om is sometimes written OM. The pronunciation is AUM. So it's a softer sound. It's an Om rather than an Om. So Om. So I'm sorry that I've kind of talked a lot, but I felt that it would be useful for you to visually see that. Because when we lie down now and I do the guided meditation, I want you to kind of have something to pin your hat on and kind of know where to go to with the colours. Because I think if I hadn't shown you that, you might have been bouncing all over the body and not really going with the flow. So does anyone have any questions? If so, unmute yourself. I'll stop share. Good, we're all happy. We're sitting like this very attentively. It's difficult to sit up and listen, isn't it? So if you would think you would be more comfortable lying down, then do so. If you're happy to stay seated, by all means do. Whatever is going to make you feel best supported, really. And I'll just let you take a few moments to adjust, to find the position where you feel best supported. If you've chosen to lay back, remember those points that we've already mentioned about finding equal weight distribution between the shoulders, between the back of the hips. If you're choosing to extend the legs, you might prefer to take the legs a little wider. And that'll just give you a little bit of space, a little bit of release, particularly around that area, the root chakra, because first time it might not be easy to kind of feel what's going on. So I haven't really spoken to you much about mudras. Mudras are the hand gestures that we use when we are practicing yoga, particularly in meditation. The mudra we often use is the Anjali mudra. And sometimes I ask you to open your palms up towards the ceiling. I'll leave it up to you how you would prefer to lie or to sit. Turning the palms up to the ceiling is always a good one because it shows that you're receptive and you're drawing the energy towards you. You might prefer to place one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. So just do whatever feels right for you. Again, I just want to get back to when we did that throat opening at the beginning, when we did that breath work with the humming bee breath. I want you to feel those vibrations through the body. So when I go through this guided meditation, I'll be saying those words, those seed mantras, Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ham, Sham, Om. I promise I won't say it as fast as that. Remember, you're all on mute. So what I'm going to do is I will lead and then I'll kind of leave space for you to repeat back. I can't hear you repeating back. So I'm just going to give it enough time that you've repeated the seed mantra 3 times before I move on to the next section. So allow yourself to become comfortable. Let your body relax and become still. And whether you're sitting or laying, feel the muscles soften, lengthen. And you can choose to either soften your gaze by turning your gaze down or simply closing the eyes. By closing the eyes, there's an invitation to draw your focus inward, to tune in again to the rhythm of your breath, and to become aware of the effect of the breath. Noticing the cool air from the tip of the nose along the nasal passages. aware of the warm air at the back of the throat. Every inhalation, nourishing and energizing. Every exhalation, cleansing, releasing, and letting go of any tension that you may be holding on to. Work with the breath to guide your body towards a deeper state of relaxation. Think of every out-breath as a letting go. Remember, that to-do list can wait. So set yourself an intention that for the next 10, 15 minutes, you'll tune into the body, to the breath, and accept any and all messages coming back from the body without judgment, without creating any narrative, just accepting any sensations that arise and giving yourself permission to release, to let go. Now bring your full focus to the root chakra, Muladhara, located at the perineum, right at the base of your spine. Start to visualize this chakra as a circle of red light. Observe as this circle of red light starts to turn in a clockwise direction. Feeling yourself connect through this spiraling circle of red light into the earth beneath you. I'll say the seed mantra one time and allow you to repeat 3 times. Lam. Now simply focus your attention on any warmth, any sensation, any tingling here in the root chakra. Now draw your focus to the sacral chakra, Svadhisthana, located in the pelvis. You'll find this spiraling chakra of orange light between the hip points. Visualize this spiraling chakra in a clockwise direction, spiraling forwards into the space above you. The seed mantra for the sacral chakra is VAM. VAM. Now you repeat. Now, once more, take a moment to process any information coming back from the sacral chakra, still connected to the root chakra. Then, in your own time, we'll take our attention a little higher to focus on the solar plexus chakra, Manipura, located in the navel. This is our power chakra. Set an intention to stand in your power and visualize this chakra as a yellow circle of light spiraling forwards from the navel and continuing in a clockwise direction. The seed mantra is Ram. Ram. Now tune into any sensations, that tingling energy in your lower three chakras, the navel, sacral chakra, the root chakra. As we now rest our focus on the chakra in the center of our body, the heart chakra. Gently soften, open, and welcome that gentle, healing green light, or that compassionate, soft, warm pink light. Visualize this chakra spiraling forwards from the heart. Anahata. Prepare to repeat the mantra Yam. Yam. Now again, there's no rush. Just take a moment to observe, to integrate any sensations. Before we nudge our focus towards the throat chakra, the Suddha, located in the throat, the communication chakra. Make an intention to speak your truth. Visualize this chakra as a turquoise light, spiraling in a clockwise direction, forward from the throat, widening into the space that surrounds you. Prepare to repeat the seed mantra, Ham. Ham. Just take a moment to notice how joyful that feels, to speak your truth, to release, to let go. Now let's refocus our attention to the space between the eyebrows, the third eye chakra. As we bring our focus to Ajna, the intuition chakra, visualize this chakra as a purple light. Once more, turning in a clockwise direction, spiraling forwards from the forehead, lighting up the space to the front of you, above you, all around you. You can either repeat the mantra verbally or internally. The seed mantra is Sham. Sham. Now let's once more take a moment to reconnect with all of those physical chakras spiraling in a clockwise direction, all connected along the same central line of energy, Sushumna. As we prepare now to open our 1,000-petaled silver lotus, which sits above the head in the crown chakra, Sahasrara. Visualize this 1,000-petaled lotus opening and spiraling up towards the heavens. Here we repeat the mantra Om. Om. Now, as we rest here, let's integrate the energies of all these spiraling chakras, alight, awake, vibrating, clearing any stagnant or any negative energy from your Sushumna, creating a clear channel of energy from the top of your head all the way down to the soles of your feet. If you wish, you can join in. I'm going to basically run together all of the seed mantras. If you wish, you can just allow my voice to wash over you. And we'll just freestyle. Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham Sham Om Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham Sham Om. 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 Om. Shanti. 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 Om. Bring your awareness back to the breath. Connecting with each inhalation. To re-energize, revitalize, and to gently start to reawaken the body. Let your out breaths become a little noisier. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, then releasing with an audible sigh. We'll take our time before moving. If you still feel a little floaty light, particularly if you're laying on your back, which has more of a tendency for deeper rest, you might want to take a moment to bend the knees up and to really feel as though you're breathing out through the soles of the feet to reconnect you with the earth beneath you, re-grounding you, bringing you back to your space within this room. You may feel that you need to take a long stretch. If you're laid down, you might prefer to hug the knees to the chest. And then in your own time, return again to a comfortable seated position, slowly and gently blinking the eyes open. So there's no rush. I just want to check in with you all. Make sure that you're all still in the room.
I wasn't, I lost you.
Oh, bless you, you're back now. Bring your hands to an Anjali Mudra. Touch to the head for kind thoughts, to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind intentions. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. So you're all still on mute. If you would like to say anything, obviously come